Today on Urban Rush, legendary producer David Foster, crooner Michael Buble, where in the world are the travel guys, recording artist Don Alder, and the Tragically Hip.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Urban Rush. Michael Eckford is off today and Mr. Terry David Mulligan is filling in, and we're going to have some great music right now. It's great guitar.
We are. It's an old friend as well. It's Don Alder, a man I've known a long time, right from the very first days of Rick Hansen when the name first popped up. He was on the road with Rick, but then he all along he kept saying, I want to make music, I want to make music. He's making music. It's a great new album called Cool Tunes Compilation. This is Don Alder. The name of the track says it all. It's called Over the Top. It's the way he plays the guitar. Here's Don Alder. I'm getting to like this.
You're getting good at it. I think you've got a future on the TV.
Thank you so much. Don Alder's joined us here in the environment. Is it my mind playing tricks with me, or were you always talking about making music?
Well, first, Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you remember back around the tour time, I was always talking about music and was always excited about it. And finally kind of getting to do it. So
but when did it get serious? Because then it was just a hobby. You were learning your craft.
Yeah, well, actually, back in the early days just before the tour, I was working as a house player for a studio. And back in that time, Rick had asked me to join him to go on the tour. And of course, when he first did that, I thought he was kind of missing a few marbles.
Yeah.
And then...
you want to do what?
Yeah, you want to do what? And well, it's funny because the trip before that, before the big tour, he actually wanted to go on a kayaking trip up to Alaska. So, I didn't believe in anything he said after that. But what happened is I got this call out when I was playing in Bella Coola, a small town. I was in a kind of a scary little bar. There's like fights and stuff going on in the background. And he said, "Don, you're going to join me on this tour?" I figured, okay. He said, "We have to be able to run 10 miles a day first." And I went outside and got about 100 feet and said, "No, not going to happen." But you know, with him, he's got this thing ever since he was young that if you set your mind to something, anything's possible, or you know, whatever comes out of that.
And now the world knows who he is. Now, we have to explain a connection here because there is a Rick Hansen connection to David Foster and this guy right here.
This is a special guy over here. Yes, what happened is when we were all simulating living in confined quarters in Rick's little small apartment in Cyprus.
Yeah.
He said, "Don, man, you and your buddy, you know, your partner, you should write a song for the tour." And I was saying, "Well, Rick, you know, that's a great idea, but you should get somebody that's huge to do something like that." And he said, "Well, who?" And so jokingly, I just said, "Well, David Foster." And he said, "Well, let's get him." And I'm kind of going, okay, this guy's obviously missing a few marbles for sure. But you know, once again, right from that point, he showed me that, you know, anything is possible once again. And what happened is
you called Mulligan?
Well, it didn't happen quite that way. We actually were having one of our kickoff parties. I think it was Richards on Richards, where I met Terry. And I was kind of shy to go up to him, but you know, Rick was kind of, "You make sure you go talk to him about it." And so I meekly went up to Terry David, and he spoke with me, and I said, "You know, we hear that you know David Foster. What's the chances of getting him to write a song for us?" And Terry said, "I do know him. I went to school with him," or something like that. And he said, "Let me look into it for you." And make a long story short, he talked to David, and David got involved. And
that's the St Elmos Fire, Man in Motion song?
That's right, with John Parr.
Yeah. And of course, Foster was not like, he didn't understand what was coming his way. But when the team got to Los Angeles, he was completely blown away.
Wow.
And it really did change his life. He said it was an unbelievable moment when I realized I was going to be part of this.
You know, meeting him was a great experience, and it was down around that Santa Monica area. And he took all of us into a recording studio called Lion's Share Studio with that famous engineer Humberto Gatica. Yeah. And here I'm looking at all my heroes, some of the Toto Boys and stuff. And so we're in this room, and David says to us, "Listen, I'm going to make sure Rick's in the control room. We got a special call coming in for him." And so the phone rings, and the guy on the phone, you can actually hear the speakers. He goes, "Hey, babe, how's it going?" And Rick's going, "Hello." And all of us knew right away that this is the voice of Lionel Richie. But you know, once Rick said, "Well, who is this?" He said, "Lionel Richie, babe, how's it going?" And then he got it. So, yeah, Foster's was amazing to meet him and John Parr and stuff. And
cool.
Well, amazing to hear your music. And if you want to pick up the Cool Tunes compilation, try and say that 10 times fast. You certainly can. Don Alder has some dates coming up, part of Just Sing Around, which is still going strong at the Vancouver Rowing Club. Also, BC Guitar Night at the Duncan George Showroom, and January 30th at the Backstage Lounge.
www.donalder.com.
Don, it's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a break, and when we return, a little more music. Michael Eckford got a chance to catch up with the Tragically Hip right after this. Stay tuned.
Great, thank you so much.
Happy New Year's to you too.